All right, this is part 2. We're now looking at tables and coordinates of how to get these from a table and a coordinate. This is actually very similar, everybody, to what we were doing yesterday with our arithmetic sequences. I'm finding what the pattern is for my y's, but then in this case, I'm also going to find what the pattern is for my x's. So 3 plus what gives me 9? Plus 6, okay? 9 plus what gives me 15? Plus 6. I can keep going, but I don't need to. I really only need to focus on one, but I do a second one just to double check myself. 3 plus what gives me 4? Plus 1. 4 plus 1 gives me 5. Again, I want to do rise over run. Change in y over change in x. My change in y is 6 plus 6. Excuse me. And change in x is plus 1 to give me 6 over 1, which is 6 as my slope. Try and see if you can do the next one on your own. All right, so on this next one, my change in y is plus 4, and I see it's plus 4 all the way down. So now let's do our x's. I see 15 to get to 10, I'd have to subtract 5. And all of them, I end up subtracting 5. So then my slope is my change in y over change in x, which is positive 4 over negative 5. Positive divided by negative is just a negative, so that gives me negative 4/5 as my answer. Last one, I'm given 2 coordinates. All I need to do is then label them. x1, y1, x2, y2. 3 minus negative 3 over 5 minus 0 equals 3 minus negative 3. 2 negatives make a positive to make that 3 plus 3 over 5 minus 0, which is 5. 3 plus 3 is 6 over 5. That does not simplify. So that is my slope. That is my rate of change. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right. This time, take a look at your graph. We're again finding the slope rate of change. Pick 2 points on the line. It doesn't matter. I can pick these 2. I can pick this one, so on. If I'm picking these points, I'm noticing on my graph there's no rise at all, but there is a run. So my rise ends up being 0. My run, if I go from this first point here to this point here, is just 1. And what is 0 divided by 1? It's just 0. So my slope in this case would be 0. So anytime you don't have a rise, but you have a run, you get a slope of 0. So on this next one, I see that I am adding 3, and so on, always adding 3. But on my x's, I am adding 0. So then my rise in this case would be positive 3. My run would be 0. However, you cannot divide by 0, so this is undefined. Now, you might also notice that the 2's here are repeating in my x's. And remember, when we talked about functions, how we said x cannot repeat? This also tells you that this table would not represent a function, which makes sense then why the slope is undefined. Has to be a function to have that slope. All right, we got this word problem. The number of cubic feet of water, Y, in a reservoir, X hours, after the water starts flowing into the reservoir, is a linear function. After 40 hours, there are 3,000 cubic feet of water and 60 hours, after 60 hours, there are 4,000 cubic feet of water. What would be the rate of change of the amount of water in the reservoir? My suggestion here, everybody, make yourself a table. X, Y. What did they say X was? They said it was hours. So remember when we did domain and range and we labeled what our X and Y was? We're still going to do that here. So X is hours. They said Y was the cubic feet of water. So when it was 40 hours, we had 3,000. When it was 60 hours, we had 4,000. They want us to find our rate of change, so how much is it from 3,000 to 4,000? Plus 1,000. How much is it from 40 to 60? Plus 20. Let's divide those two numbers. My change in Y over my change in X is my rate of change, or my slope. So 1,000 divided by 20. My zeros cancel, give me 100 divided by 2, which then is 50. All right, last thing, this is your check for understanding for today. You're going to have these 3 problems that you need to go and identify the rate of change. All right, so go through, answer all these, reply in your check for understanding for today. And after you've done that, you are done for today. All right, we will have our Zoom call back here on Monday. And I will let you know next week on Monday what day I will be checking your notebooks. All right? Have a good rest of the day, guys. Bye.